Spokesperson for Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, Adrian Lackay, and of course our breaking news earlier was that the CEO of Eskom, this crucial state-owned enterprise that keeps us all up at night, has resigned. Phakamani Khadebe is saying that it's been hard on his health and he's stepping down. Adrian Lackay, what's going on?
Good evening, Francis. Thank you for the opportunity. In relation to which matter, firstly?
So we're talking about the Eskom CEO stepping down. We'll go to the other matters, but surely this is very important. Public Enterprises Minister Gordhan endorsed him. He's only been in office for a year, a crucial time for Eskom, and he's announced his resignation.
Yes, that's unfortunate and regrettable. I think with the board that was appointed in January last year, with Mr. Jabu Mabuza as the chair, they managed to bring a degree of stability to Eskom. Certainly, they managed to stop the rot from previous administrations, and they started to introduce or are introducing proper corporate governance standards back into the utility. At the management level, of course, there's been while they had to get rid of people who were implicated in corruption and state capture. We know that during the past 14 months, Mr. Machela Koko, for example, left with a number of other executives, left the employ of Eskom. So they had a tough task to re-establish good corporate governance standards, get rid of the rot that is associated with corruption and state capture. And then operationally, of course, we are still in a period where the electricity generation for the country remains on a very sensitive margin. We have been able to avoid load shedding for more than, I think it's 60 days was the one statistic provided to us yesterday by Eskom. But we are entering the winter period, and it's a difficult period for Eskom, and they've done well to avoid load shedding since at least the beginning of April.
But Adrian, I'm asking if the minister knows what is going on. I think many South Africans will question the statement that it's been hard on his health. Of course it has. But there's also so many controversies around the unbundling of Eskom. How is that going to happen? Will jobs be lost? Just a few days ago, we heard that the finance minister didn't know about the special purpose vehicle to take over a part of Eskom's debt. Have there been ructions, and is that why he's going?
The aspect of Eskom's finances and its special purpose vehicle, I think that is market speculation. The Minister of Public Enterprises is in regular contact both with the Eskom board and with the Office of President Cyril Ramaphosa regarding one, electricity generation. Number two, he was fully briefed about the decision by Mr. Phakamani Khadebe to resign. So we are constantly keeping an eye on Eskom because Eskom is the biggest risk to our economy. The financial stuff and the restructuring of the company, as per the State of the Nation address, will also receive government's urgent attention once a new administration has been appointed sometime next week by the President. But for now, the focus has really been to bring operational stability to the company and to keep the lights on. Like I said, it's regrettable that Mr. Khadebe took the decision to resign. It is a very stressful job. But from the side of the ministry, we've done everything in our power to support Eskom and the board. You know, we've had regular media briefings when the lights did go out during March and April. And our approach is to be very frank and transparent about the problems that still face Eskom. We're not trying to hide anything, and we're certainly not trying to act in any manner that is sinister.
We appreciate that, and my question simply is he resigning because there are just too many fights over how to fix Eskom?
No, I think ultimately it's a personal decision he has to make, bearing in mind his own career and his career prospects. And if there are problems that or if he feels the stress is overwhelming, that's a consideration as well. But certainly there's been no issue of the minister or the board not having confidence in him as the CEO. Every effort was made to support him and his management team. And that will continue. We have to...
Adrian, if you can hear me, you can continue. I'm not sure what's happening.
Reception.
Sorry, there was just a break, but from government side, we'll continue through the ministry to provide whatever support Eskom needs. Winter will be difficult, and first priority is to get electricity generation stable and to keep the lights on. And like I say, the priority for government after new administration is appointed is how to drive through the restructuring or that the State of the Nation by the President this year identified.
All right, if we're talking about Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, before we even look at the Public Protector's report, does he know if he will be back as a minister?
I'm sure you know, Francis, that really the discretion and the prerogative of the President, who he will appoint to his cabinet, because every minister in the executive, they are there and they serve at the pleasure of the President. So we'll have to wait and see what President Ramaphosa decides after his inauguration tomorrow.
Okay, so now the Public Protector has found that he was wrong to let his former deputy, Ivan Pillay, go with a full pension. What's his response? We're hearing he's going to take it on review.
Yes, we'll, based on the legal advice until now, the Minister will exercise his right to take the Public Protector's report on review. Today's media briefing by the Public Protector, of course, comes a few days after the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria delivered a scathing judgment on her conduct. And we have some serious questions about motives, timing, and whether or not she followed her own procedure and her own laws, on the one hand, and on the other hand, whether she correctly interprets the laws that apply to the pension issue. It's been an issue that surfaced on and off over the years. 2016 was another high mark point where the state decided to bring criminal charges on substantially the same issue. So the minister will institute review proceedings. He will test the law, and he will try and ask for better rationality from the courts in this matter, because from the interaction with his legal team or the Office of the Public Protector, we've got serious concerns about their conduct and the way how they interpret the law and how they execute their mandate.
All right. How quickly do you think this matter could be wrapped up? Because it's something that hasn't gone away. It keeps on coming up, affecting possibly perceptions around the minister.
Look, it's been down to us at various forums, and we're at the point now where the only logical thing to do would be to go to a High Court judge and say to a High Court judge, yeah, the facts, can we place it before you? This matter has been in great detail exhausted before the Nugent Commission of Inquiry. There are any number of legal opinions that the minister relied on when he made this decision. Here are the legal opinions. The National Director for Public Prosecutions dealt with this matter in 2016. Here are the reasons why the prosecution was instituted and then withdrawn. So, court, please, you decide as an independent, competent legal authority, because despite all the evidence that was put before the Public Protector until now, both by Mr. Gordhan and by Mr. Ivan Pillay, in the course of their interactions, all of that is either disregarded or swept off the table. It is not duly considered in our view, and at some point we must test the law and based on the actions of the Public Protector, because yes, the office is the institution that is created by the Constitution, but even the Public Protector must act within rules and laws and regulations, and we don't think that's the case, and that is what we want to test before a High Court judge.
All right, spokesperson for Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, Adrian Lackay, thank you for your time tonight.